With supplier partnerships, suppliers may make several deliveries a day, not just a week, but a day to meet production needs. So why is making several deliveries a day considered a good practice? A lot of it has to do with inventory levels, dealing with quality problems that crop up. So, to explain those two reasons, first, if you're making a delivery or several deliveries a day, essentially your supplier is bringing stuff in that is more or less ready to use. So in your areas, you're only really having about maybe 3 or 4 hours of parts that you have to store that you are going to work on. And so therefore your inventory is very minimal. And the second thing it's a good practice is if you encounter a problem with the quality of the product, then it only impacts a half a day's worth of work rather than you possibly could have weeks and weeks of inventory sitting on your shelves somewhere that you have to go all through to try to figure out if there's anything wrong and where the problem start and where the problem end. Now you say, well, that may cause a problem because our line or production facility may be shut down because of that, you know, because you have no backup. Typically what happens is those companies charge their suppliers an exorbitant amount of money per hour when they have a problem that actually shuts down the line. So it's a major deterrent to have a problem accidentally or intentionally sent to the facility. Next question. Why might you have multiple suppliers for the same part? Well, the idea is that you can make those suppliers competitive with each other in terms of pricing and other concessions, and you have a backup in case something goes wrong with one of those suppliers. Like let's say they have a fire in their facility, you can back it up. Actually, a better approach is giving one supplier, maybe 70 or 80% of your business if possible, and then you have a working relationship with that supplier. You have some influence over that supplier because of the dollar volume. Now with the other 20%, you may divvy that up to another supplier as a backup and also maybe a supplier you're trying to develop. So you kind of have a backup, but you really have a key supplier that you have hopefully a productive working relationship with. Integrated supplier program components. So why is it a good idea to consult with suppliers during the design stage? We've talked about this in another chapter, but really it comes down to is they really are the experts probably at building, even designing the equipment to make the parts that they supply to you, and that's a real plus. You may have some people that have experience, but technically they know the ins and outs and are very, very attuned to what's going on in terms of how to make something. So they can possibly say, you know what, if you do it this way instead of the way that you had it designed or proposed to design it, we could save you some money. And so there's also oftentimes cost savings as well. Next question, why would a company allow its key, vetted, which means you've proved them out, suppliers to bypass inspection at the receiving dock? Well, mostly because you have a working relationship with them. You know them. There's a history that says they provide good quality stuff on time with the right quantities, and so therefore we are not going to inspect it. Of course, there's usually ramifications if there is a problem because the supplier oftentimes has to come in, do sorting, explain themselves,